How's it going, guys? Well, you know, I'm happy that somebody showed up at least. So let's, I guess let's get started with some questions. Anybody have any?
Folks, go up to the microphones right there. Start a line. Yeah, there's a microphone on each side.
Microphone on each side to start a line, they say.
How you doing? I'm a big
Good.
fan.
Thank you.
From a guy who's been at the top of many different aspects of this sport, wrestling, MMA, what would you say is the career-defining moment in your life, in your career, or has it happened yet?
I don't know. You say that like my career's over.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's still so much more to go, and do you think that you've achieved the defining moment yet?
If I retired tomorrow, I mean, I'd be completely satisfied with my career. I just, you know, I don't know. I just love the sport so much and love to compete and the competition that, you know, that's what kind of drives me and pushes me. I couldn't tell you what, up to this point, what the career-defining moment would be. There's been quite a few fights that have meant a lot to me. You know, winning that second Pride belt against Vanderlei is definitely a big one. You know, and then again in Strikeforce, you know, against Feijão. But you know, and I know that there's probably not a day that doesn't go by that the fans don't tell me how much they like when I knocked out Bisbing. So.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Anderson. Best of luck against Mr. Jones.
No worries. Thank you.
Hey, Dan.
How's it going?
Question for you. You've been in the fight game just as long as anybody else. How important of a role has nutrition played in your longevity in the sport? And what advice would you give, like, any young fighters, like, starting out now, like, as far as their nutrition program?
You know, nutrition, I eat what I want most of the part of the time, not most of the time, but you know, when it comes down to training camps, yeah, I definitely eat a lot healthier and even a lot leaner when I'm making cutting weight, making 185. But you know, for the most part, I eat healthy most of the time, and you know, I got a sweet tooth just like anybody else, though. But you know, I have a protein shake that I've developed over the years that I like to drink with a bunch of different stuff in it, and yeah, I usually have that in the morning, and then just eat healthy during the day, and you know, some vitamins and you know, a lot of vitamin C during training camp so I don't get sick. So you know, it's definitely helped me, but you know, more than that, it's just being smarter in my training too, not beating myself up as much as I could when I was younger. You know, but I think that's helped me prolong my career as well, just being a lot smarter with my training.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, Dan?
Nada.
Quick question. I was just wondering in what round you're going to knock out John Jones?
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, any of them would be fine with me. But you know, I'm just planning on going out there and making sure that I win every round. And if I can knock them out along the way, that's even better. You know, I'd rather not leave it up to the judges. You know, but I'm typically out there trying to knock guys out, so it's not like I'm not going to be trying that. But you know, I'm not going to forget to win the rounds along the way.
Right on, man. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. How are you doing?
Good.
Would you be willing to sing a victory song once you knock out or submit John Jones tomorrow?
You mean next month or September 1st? You know, I don't think any of the fans want to hear me sing.
All right. Thanks a lot.
And I could definitely say that I don't sing well at all.
All right,
So,
thanks.
No worries.
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Good.
Dan, my question is, first of all, I want to thank you for everything you've done for, you know, the whole MMA career you've done. Awesome, and I hope you still have a lot you left. But
appreciate it.
How easily great fight with Shogun, but easily you guys could be in different shoes right now. He could be fighting for the belt again. As far as you guys had a great fight, could have went either way. How much more respect did you have for Shogun after your guys fighting? It could have went either way.
I think watching some of his fights leading up to that, it seemed like, a couple times he kind of looked like broke a little bit mentally in the fights, and or he was real hurt. I don't know, but so I know that I hit him really hard, really solid in the right spots, and he kept going pretty well, and I think definitely gained a lot of respect for him at that point, for sure.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, I always respect him as a fighter. I'd love to watch him fight, but watching the fights leading up, there was a couple that he kind of looked like he broke a little bit, and he definitely showed how much heart he has against when I fought him.
All right. Thanks, Sam, and good luck.
No worries. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi there.
Personal question. Before a match, do you abstain from sexual activity so that you can build up your frustration and use that in the octagon?
I pretty much try to keep it business as usual.
That could go either way.
Well, no, I don't. Maybe the day of, I got other things on my mind that day, but I make up for it right after.
Thank you.
No worries.
Hey, Dan. Thank you for your time. For someone who's fought in Pride and the UFC, how do you feel about the judging and the ruling of the events? Do you like the Pride rules better than the UFC rules? How do you think they benefit the fighter? Which one would you prefer?
That's a tough question. I know that a lot of people over the years when I fought in Pride, they always had something to complain about, the judging there and in the UFC at the same time. I kind of like the fact that in Pride they tallied up the whole fight. They don't go by rounds. Exactly. So you can really beat somebody up, and it's real subjective when you get a 10-8 rather than just a 10-9. So, I kind of like the fact that they keep a better tally for the whole fight, and the better guy that did more damage during the whole fight or did more during the whole fight wins, rather than the guy that just squeaks out 2 rounds and gets beat up 1 round. So.
Yeah. Do you think the yellow card system should come into the UFC?
No. Okay. I think it was good. It served a purpose for sure, but I think it got abused a little bit too, just so they could save a little money. Okay. But it definitely motivates you when you got 10% of your purse on the line.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
No worries.
Bye.
Is that me? Oh, here we go. Hey, what's up? All right. Out of the main event and co-main event, who are your picks? And out of all those 4 guys, who would you want to fight the most?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I really haven't given much thought to those guys or the fight. According to everybody else, it's supposed to be John Jones's next fight.
Oh, all right.
So, but I would have to say the guys with more experience is probably who I'd be leaning towards. With Shogun and Machida, but Bader's a tough SOB too. So and I don't know. Brandon Vera, he's hot and cold. Mm-hmm. So if he shows up to fight, he definitely has a good chance to beat Shogun. So.
All right.
But I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about my picks yet.
All right. Well, good luck on September 1st.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How you doing, Dan?
Good.
Hey, man. I got a couple questions. First of all, thank you for everything you've done in MMA. You're the man.
Appreciate it.
Now, as far as dealing with John Jones's reach, every single fighter that he's fought so far has had difficulties with his reach, and he's really elusive, as everybody can, as you can tell. I'm not giving your game plans here, but how do you deal with that long reach? And second of all, I remember you said on Twitter a while ago that let's see if John Jones has a chin. Has it really been tested? Do you think his chin really has been tested?
You know, it's hard to say. I mean, he's been hit a couple times for sure. He's been hit, but you know, I don't know how well. It's hard to tell how well a guy's been hit in a fight. You know, but I know that I'll be definitely trying to test it, and you know, I'll let you know after the fight how it is. But you know, as far as his reach goes, you know, I just have longer guys with longer arms in training with me right now, so it definitely helps get used to that, and you know, helps formulate a game plan.
I mean, wouldn't the ideal plan just to be a person with a long reach? You gotta get in there. I mean, you can't fight at a distance. That's what most of the people that fought him have fought him at a distance.
No, in order to hit him, I gotta get to where my arms will reach him. So obviously he can hit me too, but as long as I'm in my range, I'm okay with that. So you know, it's pretty much no brainer. I just got to get close enough to land my strikes as well. So not just stay on the outside.
Hey, thank you very much, man.
No worries. Thank you.
Hey, Dan.
Hi there.
Okay. You've already beat Fedor. You've already beat Shogun. When you beat John Jones on September 1st, do you think you'll be considered the best MMA fighter ever?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, that's probably for everybody else to decide. I don't know. I know that I'll be proud of myself. For sure, and you know, I think it'll definitely be. It's a goal that, you know, to win that UFC belt of mine that I've had for a while, and it'll feel good to be able to accomplish that goal. So, other than that, I really, you know, I don't really look too much at what I've done in the sport as opposed to what I want to do. So, you know, we'll see. You know, after the fight, I'll reflect on that a little bit, and you know, who knows.
Okay.
There's a lot of tough fighters that have been in the sport, so.
Okay. Thank you, and good luck.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What's going on, Dan? I just want to say, man, I'm a huge fan. It's an honor to be in your presence. Man, you're a living legend. I just have a question. What made you choose to fight John Jones than to get your rematch with Anderson Silva?
Well, I don't know if I chose that. You know, when I came back from Strikeforce, we tried to put the Anderson Silva thing together, but he was hurt for a while, and they matched me up with Shogun, and knowing that, you know, I wanted to fight John Jones right then as well, but Rashad was scheduled to fight him, so they put me with Shogun, and Rashad got hurt, so kind of prolonged it a little bit, but yeah, I think that was the plan all along, as long as I, you know, beat Shogun to have a title fight against John Jones, and for me, I'd rather not cut weight if I don't have to.
Right.
So.
Thanks, man. It's an honor to be here, man.
No worries. Thank you.
Hey, Dan. Big fan from Ireland here. I wanted to ask a question, sort of getting away from MMA. If you could compete in the Olympics in any other sport than wrestling and medal, what would it have been and why?
I don't know. I thought about trying judo a little bit towards the end of my wrestling career, but I don't know. Really, MMA kind of came up on me during that time, and you know, fell in love with the sport. So, you know, hopefully we can get MMA you know, into the Olympics, which is, I know that they've been pushing at that and talking about it for a few years now. So, you know, but I don't know, maybe something pretty easy, like shooting or something.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Hey, how's it going, Dan? Big fan.
Thank you.
Usually knock out people in the first couple of rounds, but are you ready to go 5 rounds and stop his wrestling?
I am. I feel good.
You really?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, my conditioning's, you know, ahead of what it normally is. I feel great and about that, and I'm ready to go.
Thank you.
How you doing, Dan?
Good.
All right, bro. You know what? I'm very impressed by you. I mean, it's not more of a question, it's more of a request. If you could sign my hat, please, my clinch gear hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe afterwards. If you know, they got to take me to another media thing right after. So.
All right. Thanks.
No worries. You can come down to the gym, though, in Temecula, and I'll sign it any time. No worries.
Hey, Dan.
Hey there.
As a lot of MMA fans know, you came from Pride. Pride got bought out by Zuffa in around 2006. A lot of those fighters are still around. Anderson Silva, Wanderlei Silva, Shogun, Werdum. What do you think is a lasting legacy of Pride fighting championships, even though it's been gone for 6 years almost? Was there a transition period where I know a lot of those guys weren't able to transition to the ring, from the ring to the cage, but they were able to adapt and get title fights? What do you think is what happened, and what do you think is a legacy after the fall of Pride?
Yeah, I don't know. I think myself included, I'm a fan like you guys, but I miss Pride. I miss the show they put on. It wasn't just the fights. The UFC puts on great fights, so did Pride, but Pride just added the show content to it as well, and the lights, and all the theatrics, and it made for a pretty cool show. And for a while, I think it was questionable who had the better fighters, and Pride only had 2 weight classes, and the depth in those weight classes was pretty big, and they drew from all over the world. I think for a while the UFC was mostly Americans, and then a few foreigners in a lot of weight classes. So they've slowly grew and broadened, and it got to be real comparable on the fighters, but. I don't know. I don't really think of myself as a Pride fighter. I'm an MMA guy, and I love the sport, and love the fact that I've been able to stay in the sport and watch it grow and help it grow over the years. I think that's more of the legacy than Pride. I think if they're still showing some of the Pride shows, but. If you never had the chance to experience it live, it's a totally different event or feel to it than any other show. So it's unfortunate the fans can't experience that anymore.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
No worries.
Hey Dan, I wanted to ask you a question. What would mean more to you, and why, to win gold for the Olympics for the United States in wrestling, or to win a UFC championship?
I don't know. That's a good question, but right now, UFC belt for sure.
No, not right now. Like, if you were doing both at the same time.
I don't know. Probably a UFC belt.
All right. Thanks.
I don't think I would give up even going to the Olympics or trade that for anything I've done in my life as well. But it's kind of nice that I don't have to either. So, it was a great experience that I had, and a great sense of accomplishment for myself to be able to make the Olympic teams. My goal was to at least medal, and fell short at that, and then fell in love with MMA along the way. So here I am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dan, thanks for your time. Getting back to Jon Jones, what do you think it is about him that really makes him a great fighter? What are you preparing for? And also, what do you think you have in your pocket that is going to give you the upper hand?
I think it's obvious. Jon Jones is very versatile and awkward and long and unpredictable. I think all those things have helped him accomplish the things that he's accomplished, and he's a young guy that's still learning and going to improve every fight. It's amazing how much he's improved even in the last 2 or 3 years. So I think my style just matches up real well with him. I'm not going to be afraid to get in his face. I'm not going to be afraid to get in the clinch. And I'm capable of putting him on his back as well, which is one place we haven't seen him very much at all. So yeah, he's definitely going to be a tough fight, but a fight that I'm going to win.
Also, I wanted to know your stance on. I think everybody knows that performance-enhancing drugs are pretty prevalent in every sport, and how do you think that is in the UFC, and how do you think the UFC is dealing with that as an issue and handling it?
I think they've done a decent job at it. I think the biggest stage with the Olympics going on right now, with the drug testing that they do, is probably the most, the best that they can do is in the Olympics and the strictest, but it just costs money, and I think the UFC's definitely invested some money in making sure that trying to keep guys a little bit more honest with that, but it's, I think as much as they're testing, there's always somebody that's a step ahead of that, or doctors that are a step ahead of the test. So I don't know. It's I think they've done a pretty good job. Probably a good idea would be to implement a little bit more random drug testing, which I think they've started to do. So,
thank you for your time.
No worries.
Hi, Dan. If you'll be victorious over Jones, when you'll beat Jones, what would you be more interested in? Title unification with Anderson Silva, or a rematch with Shogun?
I don't know.
As you did in Pride.
Right. I don't know. It's something that you really got to go to step one first and then worry about step two. So, I just need to beat John Jones, and then I think I'll have probably some choices at that point. But, I really, it's really something I really haven't gotten any thought to. It doesn't matter to me right now. I just need to beat John Jones, and then we'll see. Right, and then we'll see. I don't want to not answer your question, but I don't have an answer for you right now.
Okay, thank you.
Ask me in a month.
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
Good.
Nice to meet you. This is like a dream fight for me. Would you ever consider a third fight with Vanderlei?
If that's kind of what pops up, and Vanderlei's doing well, I'm doing well, or who knows? Anything can happen, but it's not something that I've really given a whole lot of thought to, that it could happen anytime soon. He's down at 185, and I don't really have much desire to go down to 185 anymore. But if it's, I've always said, if the bigger fight that the fans want to see is down there, I'll definitely wait for it.
Sure. Thanks, Dan. Have a good one.
No worries.
So, you win your fights. You especially win the fights that you're not supposed to win. You're too old to be fighting, and you're the top contender and soon-to-be champion. So here's the question. Was there a conscious decision that the normal rules of reality just don't apply to Hendo, or did it just happen?
I don't know. I guess I like to prove people wrong. So, I don't know. I just been blessed, I guess.
What up, Dan?
Nada.
I don't like to assume, but I'm assuming you'll be watching film of previous John Jones fights. But I'm I'm wondering, will you use Anderson Silva's, the fight that you had with him, as a point of reference or a blueprint for maybe fighting John Jones?
No, not much. I haven't even looked at my fight with Anderson Silva in a while, but I know what my style is. I know what what I'm good at, and just watching films on John Jones definitely kind of helps me formulate a game plan. And but the biggest thing with anybody, what I tell any fighter, younger fighter that needs some advice is, you can't worry too much about what everybody else can do to you. You forget about what you're going to be able to do to them. So you really need to focus on your offense and go out there and get it done. And still at the same time be smart and be aware of what their tendencies are and what they like to do. But I plan on being offensive.
Real quick, did Dana ever replace that quote-unquote piece of junk he gave to you after UFC 100?
No, it's running fine. Still have it.
Oh, okay, good to hear. Thanks, Dan.
No worries.
Hey, how you doing, Daniel? I just wanted to ask, do you prepare different strategies for every different opponent you come across?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it changes a little bit. You know, it varies depending on what their strengths are. But again, you know, I'm working off of what my strengths are as well. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, my biggest strength is probably trying to knock them out. So it's what I'm usually going to try to do on most guys. But, you know, little things do change for sure. And you know, a little bit of strategies go into play that change. So absolutely.
Thank you.
No worries.
Hi. You're a pretty seasoned veteran and whatnot, but what advice would you give a young, aspiring MMA fighter such as myself?
So I just gave some advice, what I usually give the younger guys, but you know, as far as what, just, you know, if you have trouble with, a lot of younger guys have trouble with nerves, and you know, you pretty much just have to treat every fight like it's practice, nice and relaxed when you're going to practice, and you got to be relaxed out there when you fight. You know, you just might be trying to do things a little bit harder, a little bit more aggressive, but you still need to be relaxed and think about what you're doing. So, you know, it doesn't do much good to waste a bunch of energy being nervous.
All right, cool. Thanks.
No worries.
Good luck against John Jones.
Thank you.
If he can get a ride to the fight.
Hey, Dan. Recently there was a poll of which sport should be included in the Olympics, and number 2 behind baseball was MMA. Now, being a former Olympian yourself, how would you see MMA fitting into the Olympics, and what format? Would it be more like a tournament style, or would it be, you know, I don't know. I'd just be curious to hear your input on that.
Yeah, obviously I would love to see it in the Olympics, and yeah, I think it would have to be a tournament format. And whether they do, you know, multiple fights in a day or break it up over, you know, one fight a day, but you know, the rules would have to change to limit the cuts that guys get. You know, maybe take out elbows, but yeah, I think and probably shorten the fights a little bit.
Yeah. And second question, I got some boys from Temecula here, and since you said you pretty much eat whatever you want, what's your favorite thing to order at Mo's Eggs House?
I don't know. I have a couple things that I like there. The little Rick's scramble was pretty good.
Solid. Thanks.
No worries.
Hey Dan, I wrestle at Villa Park High School, and
right.
Clinch Gear sponsors us, and I was wondering if you would ever come down and show us some technique.
If I ever had time, I barely have time to do anything at my gym. You know, but occasionally I do seminars and stuff. So I just did one up in Torrance area about a month ago for my old wrestling coach. So, how do you like wrestling?
I like it a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You the only girl on your team?
Yes.
Yeah? You like that?
Not really, but
Well, keep up the work. It's definitely a tough sport.
yes. Thank you.
So Dan, big fan. My question is, I know a lot of jiu-jitsu practitioners who can't train as much as they want to because of pains and aches and injuries and things, and then you're a fighter and you're older than most of these people I know. I wonder, do you make a conscious effort to block out injuries and pains and things that would stop you, or are you lucky and you don't sustain injuries like that maybe?
Yeah, I wish I was that lucky. No, I don't know if I make a conscious effort, but you know, when I'm in training camp, obviously things are going to have bumps and bruises and new injuries a lot of times as well. But you know, most of the time they're not serious injuries, and it's just a matter of dealing with the pain and working through it, and not try to injure whatever hurts worse. Just try to work around it and until it heals a little bit and keep going. But for the most part, even throughout my whole wrestling career and fighting career now, I have injuries that have been with me the whole time. But you just, I guess, don't worry too much about them, and that they slowly you slowly hurt something else, and you think about that instead. But it's definitely a toll on your body. But I've gotten smarter over the years to really try to avoid those a lot of times, and if it hurts, don't do it so much.
Cool, thank you.
No worries.
What's up, Dan? Danielle, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So I'm counting on you to end the John Jones reign of terror. My boy Rashad almost did it, so I'm counting on you to knock him out. I'm not a big fan, I apologize, but what did you think that Rashad did right during his fight, and what do you think that Lyoto Machida did right during his fight? Because to me, those were the two most successful opponents that John Jones faced thus far. And are you going to take anything from their page book, and try to work it into your strategy to beat them?
I don't know. I guess the part that they hit him in the face, I'll work that into my strategy. But I think Rashad had a lot more tools than he used during that fight, and just kind of stood on the outside and waited too much. I don't think that was his game plan going in. He just didn't implement his game plan for whatever reason. He was flat, or just I don't know. I think after standing there, you can't stand in front of somebody like John Jones without doing something back, and Rashad did that too much, and just took a little too much toll on him. So I would have liked to have seen him at least attempt some of the things I know he's capable of doing, and see from there. It would have helped me figure out John Jones a little better. But I think I take a little bit of what they've done in those fights, but I'm a different fighter than Rashad or Machida, so I just gotta have to work it into what I do best.
So when you knock him out, would you be open to a fight with you and Rashad?
Oh, absolutely. I've always loved watching Rashad. He's a good dude. So
good fight. Thanks.
Hey, Endo, what's up, man? I just want to say, first of all, I think you're a real American hero.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your work. In all of MMA, aside from you, who do you think has the best cauliflower ear?
I don't know. I think there's quite a few out there. I know Randy's got better ones than I do. So, I don't know. There's a few wrestlers out there that got some good ones. Mine aren't that. Mine definitely aren't nearly as bad as Randy's, but it could be him.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Good luck.
No worries. Nice shirt.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Dan, it's a pleasure.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you. I have a question. Being that you are more known for your knockout power, and watching John Jones's fights, we've noticed that his submission game has increased a lot more, and he's finishing his fights with submissions now. If you had to choose any submission move to finish Jones with, what would you choose?
I don't know. Some of my favorite. I like to choke as well, just like he does. But either some sort of choke, Kimura or a leg lock. Not a huge armbar guy.
Are you ranked at all in jiu-jitsu?
No, but I'm probably a white belt. I don't have a belt at all, so I never put on a gi, so but I'm not bad with my submissions, I guess.
Thank you very much, Dan.
No problem. Thanks.
Hey, Endo, big fan of yours.
Thank you.
As a wrestler, as myself and you, if you ever try wrestle John Jones, how come would you ever try for outside single shot instead of a full single or double takedown?
Would I try for
outside single shot? So he's like real taller.
You mean shooting from the outside for a single leg? I don't know. Sometimes I do that. Occasionally, more than I shoot for double legs, probably.
Yeah, because since he's real taller, a little shorter.
Right.
And usually they'll try to sprawl and by then you probably have the.
Yeah, I mean, either way, no matter what, I just have to close that distance on them and not stay on the outside.
All right, thanks.
No worries.
Big Dan, what's going on, man? I'm a huge fan of yours. I've been a fan for a long time. Just wanted to get your thoughts, being not that you're an old guy or anything like that, right? But this is your third stint with the UFC, going back to UFC 17. I just wanted to get your thoughts on what the differences are between the fighters in all three eras that you've been with the UFC, and how what the difference is with your preparations and just your overall thoughts.
Well, I know that it's not just the UFC, but just the sport of MMA has really taken off, and back in the day, you really didn't have to know all the other disciplines that well. If you're really good at one of them, you'd probably do okay. If you're pretty good at a couple of the disciplines, you're doing a lot better. But you got to know everything now, and it's the sport's just really evolved into its own sport. You don't have guys that are just wrestlers or kickboxers or jiu-jitsu guys anymore. They have to know everything, and the athletes are just they're just MMA guys now. So the MMA UFC's done a great job building the sport and bringing more awareness to it and getting more eyes on our sport. But it's always been exciting, and I think that's what basically makes it sell. And these fighters they're not doing other sports as young as a lot of them are coming out and just doing MMA at a young age, and it's just going to make it tougher for us old guys to beat them. But hopefully I can keep doing it for a couple more years.
Awesome. Just one last thing. Are you going to bring back old school Dan Henderson with Lunatic Fringe coming out?
No, probably not.
Thought I'd ask. Thanks, Dan.
No, it'll be the same one as last time.
That's
America.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're the man. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
What's up, Henderson? How you doing? On behalf of all of us as UFC fans, we want to thank everybody coming back to LA. It's been way too long, and we wanted you guys back for the longest time. So, of course.
I can't take any credit for that one, but thank you.
I have a two question. One is, are you impressed by John Jones's wrestling as a wrestler? I mean, he has good wrestling. I mean, especially in the Stephan Bonner fight, he used the Greco-Roman really impressively. And two, I have a personal question. It's not gonna be like hers, but I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast, as well as everybody here, maybe a lot of us. And your good buddy Chael Sonnen was on there, and Joe Rogan told us a story about you at a comedy club and how you took down a heckler. And I don't know if you want me to repeat what you exactly said, but after you said it,
yeah, I'm sure it's definitely been added to
it's something
for Joe's show. But
I want to know if that was exactly true or not.
There's definitely some truth to it. It happened, but not. It was more of just to me and Joe. It wasn't necessarily to him, but. No, it was just, I think Joe added to that quite a bit to make it a little bit funnier. But no, it was kind of a funny thing. It was one of those things that kind of had to be there. But
how'd you think of his impression of you?
I didn't hear the podcast.
He had a good impression.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe's a pretty funny dude.
What about Jones's wrestling? Are you as a wrestler yourself?
He really doesn't use it that much in MMA. He's got some other tools that he's really improved on and started to use quite a bit more with his striking and his unorthodox, goofiness that he does. But
and my dream fight I want to see is you versus Chael Sonnen. I think that would be, you guys were back, wrestler versus wrestler. I mean, I see how you do against trash talkers like Bisping, so I think it would be an awesome fight.
Oh, well, Chael's been on my team forever, so it probably won't happen.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I good? Okay.
Yeah.
If you could get any fighter in the Pride ring with Pride rules and put on a good show, who would it be?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I think, yeah, I definitely miss some of the Pride rules. I enjoyed the knees on the ground and the
If
soccer
you had
kicks.
to pick one, life or death, who would it be?
Life or death? Who would I want to fight in Pride rules?
Yes. And put
I
on a
don't
good
know.
show, of course. You can't just knock them out.
Wouldn't that be a good show?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I want him to stand for like a few seconds.
I'm not going to just get a bunch of yellow cards. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to fight anybody that I have fought already in Pride rules as well. I mean, you know, I think I would have liked to have, when I fought Rampage, fought him in the Pride rules instead of UFC rules. So.
And I have one more small question. Somebody out here. What animal could you knock out?
What animal?
A big animal, yeah. If you could confidently knock out an animal, who would it be?
I couldn't tell you.
A bear?
Probably not. Those things are huge.
How about a tiger?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to try. I don't know. I'd probably try to knock out a small animal.
Like a Pomeranian?
Maybe.
Thank you.
No worries.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, where's the girl that asked the question about sex? All right, you win. Well, that shows you where our heads are at the UFC, by the way. All right, so Dan Henderson versus John Jones, September 1st at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's hear it for Dan Henderson.
Thanks for coming out, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support.
Programmet presenteras av betsafe.com.